गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हीलंबोदर गजानना वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हीलंबोदर गजानना वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हीलंबोदर गजानना वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हीलंबोदर गजानना रिद्धि सिद्धि के दाता तुम हो 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 शशि शेखर नंदना वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हीलंबोदर गजानना जो ध्यावे वांछित फल पावे 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 अग्रदेव तुम्हि वंदना
अग्रदेव तुम्हि
वन्दना अग्रदेव तुम्हि वन्दना अग्रदेव तुम्हि वन्दना वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हीलंबोदर गजानना वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हीलंबोदर गजानना काम क्रोध मद लोभ आदि हर
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 निर्विकार निर्मल मना
निर्विकार निर्मल मना
निर्विकार निर्मल मना
निर्विकार निर्मल मना
वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हीलंबोदर गजानना वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हीलंबोदर गजानना रिद्धि सिद्धि के दाता तुम हो रिद्धि
सिद्धि के दाता
तुम हो रिद्धि सिद्धि के दाता तुम हो
रिद्धि सिद्धि के दाता तुम हो
शशि शेखर नंदना वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हीलंबोदर गजानना वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हीलंबोदर गजानना हीलंबोदर गजानना हीलंबोदर गजानना
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ
जय गिरिवर धारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन
व्रज जन रंजन
यशोदानंदन 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 व्रज जन रंजन
यमुना तीर वनचारी
यमुना तीर वनचारी
यमुना तीर वनचारी
यमुना तीर वनचारी
जय कुंज बिहारी
प्रेम से बोले श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। बोले श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। शुभ स्वागतम, जय जय सीताराम, and a most warm and blessed welcome to each and every one of you. This evening, joining together with us in Satsangh here at the Chandrasekhar Mandir in Rio Claro as we celebrate with Derek Ramdat on his 25th anniversary in the teaching service. I would like to pass over to his mom, Miss Kimraji Ramnath, for a welcoming before we start and we begin our satsang.
Sitaram, and a very, very warm welcome to all. And this is only possible through the divine graces of Bhagwan Shri Krishna, whom we thank. Yesterday marked 25 years since Derek has been with the Ministry of Education, and for this he saw it fit in this most fitting to celebrate in this way. Again, I want to say a very, very warm welcome to all, and let us sit back and enjoy all that we have for you. Thank you very much. I pass you now to Sri Panditji Varun Haripasad.
Thank you very much, Mom, for those wonderful words of welcome. With this in mind, my dear friends, let's all place ourselves in a frame of mind for the purpose of Satsang, that is to receive the energies, the divine darshan, that is going to be extolled and expounded here this evening. Let us all dedicate our thoughts in prayer. We close our eyes, we bow our heads in prayer, we supplicate to the wonderful feet of our dear Lord, Bhagwan Shri Krishna. Many of us call him Krishna, Gopal, Govind, Radhesha, Gopinath, Madhusudhana. All these wonderful and beautiful names of Bhagwan Shri Krishna, we supplicate. And during this period of the Pitri Paksh, we call him Aryama Pitridev Bhagwan. So it is to him we pray and we ask for blessings. Today we perform Gita Satsang, glorification of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Let us all dedicate our thoughts and prayers to begin our devotions. Shantakar Bhujagashayanam Paramanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Vidyanagamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavam Hayaharanam Sarvalokai एकनाथम् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शांति। बोले श्री उमापति महादेव की जय, बोले श्री महाविष्णु भगवान की जय। We glorify this wonderful form of Bhagwan Shri Ganesh in bhajan. Before we begin, we are in Satsangh, my dear friends. We are here to receive the wonderful teachings of God. We are also here to create a vibration and energy that will bring about an end to all our problems, difficulties, sickness and suffering in our lives, my dear friends. So let us pray, let us clap, let us sing, let us get up and dance in the name of God as we receive blessings here tonight.
जय गणेश बोलो प्यारे, चमकेंगे तेरे सितारे। जय गणेश बोलो प्यारे, चमकेंगे तेरे सितारे। ये दुख हरता है सुख करता, ये दुख हरता है सुख करता। गणपति बप्पा मोरिया, आओ सभी जन मिलकर गाओ। गणपति बप्पा मोरिया, आओ सभी जन मिलकर गाओ। गणपति बप्पा मोरिया। जय गणेश बोलो प्यारे, चमकेंगे तेरे सितारे। जय गणेश बोलो प्यारे, चमकेंगे तेरे सितारे। गाँवों ने नगरों ने किया गणपति का प्यारा दर्शन। गणपति का प्यारा दर्शन। सदियों से सुंदर मंदिर में दिया सभी ने पूजन, दिया सभी ने पूजन। गण है इनके प्यारे सारे, गणनायक ये कहलाए। आदि देव ये इनकी कृपा से चार परारत पाए। इनकी शरण में जो भी आता, भव सागर तर जाता। आओ सभी जन मिलकर गाओ, गणपति बप्पा मोरिया। आओ सभी जन मिलकर गाओ, गणपति बप्पा मोरिया। जय गणेश भी डूबता चार धाम ओ आता, चार धाम ओ आता। इनकी महिमा बड़े अपार, मोक्ष द्वार जग पाता, मोक्ष द्वार जग पाता। जो श्रद्धा से फूल चढ़ाए उसका बेड़ा पार, क्या मन में जो ध्यान धरे हो उसका ही उद्धार। भक्त जनों ने गणपति जी का मधुर गीत है गाया, आओ सभी जन मिलकर गाओ गणपति बप्पा मोरिया, आओ सभी जन मिलकर गाओ गणपति बप्पा मोरिया। जय गणेश बोलो प्यारे, चमकेंगे तेरे सितारे। जय गणेश बोलो प्यारे, चमकेंगे तेरे सितारे। ये दुख हरता है सुख करता, ये दुख हरता है सुख करता गणपति बप्पा मोरिया। आओ सभी जन मिलकर गाओ गणपति बप्पा मोरिया, आओ सभी जन मिलकर गाओ गणपति बप्पा मोरिया, आओ सभी जन मिलकर गाओ गणपति बप्पा मोरिया। जय गणेश बोलो प्यारे, चमकेंगे तेरे सितारे।
Ganapati Ganesh Bhagavan ki glorification of the wonderful name of Bhagavan Shri Ganesh. My dear friends, tonight we also going to be aired on TV Jagrati, and so we want to welcome the staff from TV Jagrati, Bimal, for being with us here tonight and of course taking us through this broadcast. My dear friends, Bhagavad Gita, what is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita was written and narrated by Lord Krishna himself. Arjuna stood on a battlefield of Kurukshetra, and the Bhagavad Gita was written in the middle of another book called the Mahabharata. So whilst the Mahabharata was being written, and they reached that point where they were on this battlefield, and Arjuna is looking at the other side and he's seeing his family, his friends, those who he shared a bond with, and now he has to fight those same people. And he started to feel a little bit dejected that he didn't want to do this anymore. But his charioteer, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, started to speak. And when he started to speak, my dear friends, chapters arose. And each different chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita brings a different blessing for all of us. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about chapter 3. And tonight we're going to intertwine Bhagavad Gita, Gita Mahatma, and Pret Khan of the Garud Puran. And we're going to see how each is connected to its own. Chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita is Karma Yoga. Gita Mahatma tells of the glories of Bhagavad Gita. So we're going to learn about the glories of chanting chapter 3. And we're going to see how beneficial chapter 3 is, or the entire Bhagavad Gita in Garud Puran. My dear friends, but firstly, before we do this, we need to glorify Bhagavan Shri Krishna. We need to give him that exalted seat, my dear friends, for it is Aryama Pitri Bhagavan, the one who is worshipped, the one who is adored. We offer our salutations unto him here tonight. Radha dhund rahi, किसी ने मेरा शाम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही, किसी ने मेरा शाम देखा,
राधा ढूंढ रही, किसी ने मेरा शाम देखा,
राधा ढूंढ रही, किसी ने मेरा शाम देखा,
राधा ढूंढ रही, किसी ने मेरा शाम देखा,
शाम देखा गन शाम देखा,
शाम देखा मैंने शाम देखा,
शाम देखा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा।
राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा।
राधा तेरा श्याम हमने मथुरा में 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 देखा।
बंसी बजाते हुए
राधे।
ओ राधा तेरा श्याम देखा।
बंसी बजाती हुई ओ राधा तेरा श्याम देखा।
राधा ढूंढ रही
किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा।
राधा ढूंढ रही
किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा।
राधा तेरा श्याम हमने गोकुल में 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 देखा।
अरे भैया चराते हुए
राधे।
ओ राधा तेरा श्याम देखा।
गैया चराती हुई ओ राधा तेरा श्याम देखा।
राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा।
राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा।
राधा तेरा श्याम हमने वृंदावन में 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 देखा।
रास रचाते हुए
राधे।
ओ राधा तेरा श्याम देखा।
रास रचाती हुई ओ राधा तेरा श्याम देखा।
राधा ढूंढ रही
किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा।
राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा।
राधा तेरा श्याम हमने गतिपुर में देखा।
राधा तेरा श्याम हमें गतिपुर में देखा।
राधा तेरा श्याम हमने गतिपुर में देखा।
राधा तेरा श्याम हमें गतिपुर में देखा।
अरे पर्वत उतारते हुए ओ राधा तेरा श्याम देखा।
पर्वत उतारती हुई ओ राधा तेरा श्याम देखा।
राधा ढूंढ रही
किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा। राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा।
राधा तेरा श्याम हमने वैष्णवन में देखा।
राधा तेरा श्याम हमें विष्णु में देखा।
राधा तेरा श्याम हमने वैष्णवन में देखा।
राधा तेरा श्याम हमें वैष्णवन में देखा।
राधे राधे जपते हुई
जपते हुए
ओ राधा तेरा श्याम देखा।
राधे राधे जपते हुई ओ राधा तेरा श्याम देखा। राधा ढूंढ रही
किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा।
ओ राधा ढूंढ रही
किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा।
श्याम देखा घन 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 श्याम देखा।
राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा। राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा। राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा। राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा। बाकी बिहारी लाल की Lord Vishnu is narrating to Lakshmi Mata and he's saying to her, Devi, oh my dear Lakshmi, in the town of Janastan was a Brahmin by the name of Jad, who was born in the dynasty of the Kaushik. That Brahmana, my dear friends, he gave up his devotional activities. What is the duty of a Brahmana? To enlighten, to educate, and to guide those upon the path of spirituality. Tonight we learn about two. The first is Jud. Jud gave up all his religious activities. My dear friends, he started to follow a different company. He became fond of gambling. He became fond of drinking. He became fond of wasting his life in unscrupulous activities, my dear friends. He took up the trade of being a businessman. And you have good businessmen and people who just say they're trying to do business. He wasn't too good of a businessman, but he was good at stealing. So he used to do a lot of underhand businesses to gain wealth. He went to the north on business trip. And while there, he gained much wealth and decided to return to Janastan. My dear friends, when you do things that is opposite to what you were born to do you think it will work out? Do you think that you will be rewarded? Tonight, Jud is going to learn the very, very hard way of the results of his own actions. Remember, the chapter is called Karma Yoga. That which deals with karma, our actions, what we do in this world. You see, when we disregard our duties, my dear friends, causes problems. When we put aside our family for our own personal enjoyments and happiness, we're setting ourselves up for failure. When we put aside our education and expect to be successful in society, my dear friends, I wouldn't have to tell you that. The teacher will tell you that. When you put aside your education, you expect to be anything in life? You still have to learn a trade. But if you don't want to learn anything, then what's going to happen with you? If you disregard your duties to your dharma, in the evening when there's Sandhya hour, what are we supposed to do? Light a diya. And if we can't light it by the tulsi plant, we light it by the picture, the altar of our Devi. What mantra do we say? Om Siddhi Buddhi Prade Devi Bhukti Mukti Pradayani Mantra Murti Sada Devi Mahalakshmi Namastute. To the Devi who is in charge of all the gifts and intellect in this world. By way of the mantra that I'm chanting, and I'm invoking the energies that will allow you, O Devi, to be in my home and to bless my life and that of my family. When we disregard our duties and we forget about Lakshmi, you think any wealth will follow us? When we disregard our duties and we forget about Lord Ganesha, do you think success will follow us? Jud is going to learn the very hard way, my dear friends. He disregarded his duties as a Brahmana to follow on the pathway of spirituality. And here he is doing underhanded business to gain wealth. What is going to happen to him, my dear friends? As he gains this amount of wealth, and he is traveling back to Janastan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hari 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
He stole, my dear friends, on that business trip, but he gained a lot of wealth. And in doing so, and making his journey back to Janastan, he found himself in a very lonely place, in a very deserted place. And he was tired, so he decided to rest. And now resting, clutching the money in his hands, some robbers, some bandits came upon him. And here they began to beat him, to take the money away from him. And beating him, my dear friends, they ended up killing him and leaving him there and taking the money away. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hari 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Being in that form of the prate now, his soul becomes restless. As he died, my dear friends, as Jad died at that point in time, there's no one to perform Anteshti Sanskara, no one to do any post-funeral rites. What would happen to him? He would become a bhoot. He would become a ghost. Sometimes we tell ourselves, you see all that we're all doing day, that funeral and that shaving and that bandara, don't do that for me. I don't want that. Not understanding the purpose of it, my dear friends. When we die and those rites are not performed, we become a brute. We become a prate. And in that pratehood, in that state, we become very miserable. Have you ever heard of people complain that something harassing them? Or when they go to sleep, like tonight when you go home and you go to sleep, something holding your foot and pulling you? Or something squeezing you? Or something frightening you? Or you walk upstairs in the bed and you hear in the kitchen knocking? That may be signs of prate. But it only happens to those who have a very low energy. It only happens to those whose energy, whose Shakti is not very strong. And so, Jad, becoming a bhoot, becoming a prate, he's in this form, he does not know what to do. Because how he abandoned his duties as a Brahmana, he took that form as a prate. His son, however, was very religious in his duties, and he was very learned in Vedic rites. When he saw that his father did not return to Janastan, his son set out to look for him. And whilst looking for him, while his father maybe have chanting other things while going on business, or his minds were on different things when he was on business, his son, his thoughts were on God. His thoughts were on Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And he would be chanting, he would sing, Mukunda Madhava Govinda Bol Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol. When we go satsang, we have drives like we came from Pinal and we left like 2 hours before satsang. As we set out on our journey, the first thing we came into the car, we were singing. And we were singing bhajans. Bhajans, my dear friends, are passwords that tap into the cosmic energy and reality of the universe that will enable all of us to achieve spirituality and receive divine bliss. And so whatever you set out to do, take the name of God on your lips. And whatever you set out to do, you will be successful. So his son, he's traveling and he's singing, Mukunda Madhava Govinda Bol Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol. Together he's chanting, Ram Ram Bol Krishna Krishna Bol. He looks far and wide. He is asking questions. Have you seen my father? He went to do business. Can you tell me where he is? He is asking questions and is still chanting the name of God. Where did he go? He could not find his father's form. He could not find any word of where his father was until finally he hears something very devastating. Mukunda Madhava Govinda Bol Shava Madhava Hari Hari Bol. What would he find? He would hear that his father has died. He would hear that his father was involved in underhanded business. He would hear that his father wasn't a good person. He would hear that his father stole, and he would hear that his father was beaten to death and stolen from. Being a son of righteous nature, what would he do? Would he say, well, that is his business? Or whatever he do, he's a big man? Or what would he do? Would he take pity on his father's soul and try to help him? As a child, we have a duty, my dear friends. Regardless of the nature of our elders sometimes, the nature of our parents sometimes, we have a duty to perform. And it's our duty as a child to always do what is right. It is our duty as a devotee to ensure that we always try to uplift one's soul and to bring some form of peace and happiness to that soul. And so what his son is about to do, he said that he will go to Kashi, he will go to Banaras, and he will do Pinda worship. And there he would set out and he would do Pinda worship, offering of the Pindas. The Pindas, my dear friends, are very important to us as Hindus, as it teaches us many wonderful lessons, especially during the period of Pitri Paksh, how important our devotions are. Gayatri Mantra is very important as well. Somaya Pitraya Namaha Swaha. That mantra is very important in Pinda offerings. The Pinda that is offered, my dear friends, in flowing water pacifies the moon, Chandramadeva. And what it does, it satisfies the devatas and the ancestors and the forefathers for whomever the Pindadan is carried out. The second Pinda can help relieve our stress and suffering whilst we are in this world. And so we will offer these Pindas to the devatas. Whenever the ancestors become satisfied, we begin to elevate the soul. We elevate souls, my dear friends, by Pratama Bhakti Santan Kar Sangha Du Sarirati Mama Katha Prasanga. We pacify and we uplift souls by keeping the right company and listening to the glories of God. We pacify souls and we uplift them. Guru Pada Pankaja Sevati Sari Bhakti Aman. Chauti Bhakti Mama Guna Gana Karai Kapatita Jidhan. Service to the feet of the Guru, service to the feet of the elders, very important. Service to the feet of the Brahmanas. As the son of Jad began performing Pindadan and Pinda offerings, what would happen, my dear friends? Something would happen. And as he's concluding his Pinda offerings and making of the gifts and so on, and the gifts are as well, they are very important for us as Hindus. When we perform Shraddha, we perform Pinda offerings, and we make those offerings and we give the gifts. We are not giving the pillow and the sponge to the Pandit, although he will receive it. It is given in the name of the departed and in the name of the deceased, in the name of our ancestors, that wherever they may be, may they always have the comfort of a bed. May they always have the comfort of a pillow to rest their head on. May they always have the comfort of clothing, the comfort of light. That's why we give the lamp. May they always have the comfort of an umbrella, with the comfort of shelter. We give the money, we pray that may they always have the gift of Dan, the gift of wealth, the gift of prosperity. Whenever offerings like that are made unto the deceased, my dear friends, and the departed, they become very happy. And Lord Ganesh is restricted to success. Lakshmi Mata is restricted to wealth. Lord Shiva is restricted to health. Saraswati Mata is restricted to knowledge. This is the different names that we call that one God by. But when we offer these offerings to the ancestors, my dear friends, their blessings knows no boundaries, and they bless us with anything and everything that we can imagine, and that would make us very comfortable in this life. That's how important our offerings to the Pitris are. And so Jad, his son, as he completed Pinda offerings, he begins to do something. What does he begin to do, my dear friends? He begins to chant chapter 3 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. At this very important juncture in our katha, I want to pass over to Derek and his mom as they will take us through the chanting of chapter 3 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So we will turn our attention to Derek and his mom.
Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Ath Tritiyodhyayah Karma Yogaha. Arjuna Uvacha Jyayasi Ched Karamanaste Mata Buddhir Janardana Tatkim Karamani Ghore Mam Niyojayasi Keshava Vyamishreyaneva Vakyena Buddhim Mohayasiva Me Tadekam Vadanishchitya Yena Shreyo Hamapnuyam Shri Bhagavan Uvacha लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन साङ्ख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनां न कर्मणामनारम्भात् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च सन्न्यसनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातुतिष्ठत्यकर्मकृत कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् असक्तः स दृश्यते नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्म ज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर सह यज्ञाः प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम् एषवोऽस्त्वष्टकामधुक् देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वः परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयः परमवाप्स्यथा इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवाः दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविताः तैर्दत्तानप्रदायैभ्यः यो भुङ्क्तेस्तेन एव सः यज्ञस्रष्टाशिनः सन्तः मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः भुञ्जते ते त्वघं पापाः ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात् अन्नाद् भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः यज्ञाद् भवति पर्जन्यः यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवं तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम् एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं नानुवर्तयति हयः अघायुरिन्द्रियारामः मोघं पार्थ स जीवति यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः नाकृतेनेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः तस्मादसक्तः सततं कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो ह्याचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पूरुषः कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम् आस्थिता जनकादयः लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि यद्यदाचरत् श्रेष्ठः तत्तदेवेतरो जनः स यत्प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्तरनुवर्तते न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किञ्चन नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि यदि ह्यहं न वर्तेय जातु कर्मण्यतन्द्रितः मम वर्त्मानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः उत्सीदेयुरिमे लोकाः न कुर्यां कर्म चेदहं संकरस्य च कर्ता स्याम् उपहन्यामि माः प्रजाः सक्ताः कर्मण्य विद्वांसः यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद्विद्वांस्तथा सक्तः चिकीर्षुर्लोकसङ्ग्रहम् न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेत् अज्ञानां कर्मसङ्गिनां जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन् प्रकृतेः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहङ्कारविमूढात्मा कर्ताहमिति मन्यते तत्त्ववित्तु महाबाहो गुणकर्मविभागयोः गुणागुणेषु वर्तन्ते इति मत्वा न सज्जते प्रकृतेर्गुणसम्मूढाः सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् कृत्स्नविदो मन्दान् कृत्स्नविन्न विचालयेत् मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि सन्न्यस्याध्यात्मचेतसा निराशीर्निर्ममो भूत्वा युध्यस्व विगतज्वरः ये मे मतमिदं नित्यम् अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवाः श्रद्धावन्तो न सूयन्तः मुच्यन्ते तेऽपि कर्मभिः ये त्वेतदभ्यसूयन्तः नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतम् सर्वज्ञानविमूढांस्तान् विद्धि नाशान् चेतसः सर्वशं चेष्टते स्वस्याः प्रकृते ज्ञानवानपि प्रकृतिं यान्ति भूतानि निग्रहं किं करिष्यति इन्द्रियस्येन्द्रियस्यार्थे रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ तयोर्न वशमागच्छेत् तौ ह्यस्य परिपन्थिनौ श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मे निधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावहः अर्जुन उवाच अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयं पापं चरति पूरुषः अनिच्छन्नपि वार्ष्णेय बलादिव नियोजितः श्रीभगवानुवाच काम एष क्रोध एषः रजोगुणसमुद्भवः महाशनो महापाप्मा विद्येनमिह वैरणम् धूमेनाव्रियते वह्निः यथादर्शो मलेन च यथोमेनावृतो गर्भः तथा तेनेदमावृतम् आवृतं ज्ञानमेतेन ज्ञानिनो नित्यवैरणा कामरूपेण कौन्तेय दोष्पूरेणानलेन च इन्द्रियाणि मनो बुद्धिः अस्याधिष्ठानमुच्यते एतैर्विमोहयत्येषः ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनम् तस्मात् त्वमिन्द्रियाण्यादौ नियम्य भरतर्षभ पाप्मानं प्रजहीहेनं ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम् इन्द्रियाणि पराण्याहुः इन्द्रियेभ्यः परं मनः मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिः यो बुद्धेः परतस्तु सः
एवं बुद्धेः परं बुद्ध्वा संस्थभ्यात्मानमात्मना जहि शत्रुं महाबाहो कामरूपं दुरासदम्। ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे कर्मयोगो नाम तृतीयोऽध्यायः। सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः।
Om Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Andar Giridhara Madana Manohara Mandar Giridhara Madana Manohara मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर गिरिधारी गिरिधारी गोवर्धन धन गिरिधारी 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 माधवा मधुसूदना हे माधवा मधुसूदना हे मुरली गान विलोला मुरली गान विलोला मंदर गिरिधर मदन मनोहर मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर गिरिधारी गिरिधारी गोवर्धन धन गिरिधारी 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 गोवर्धन गिरिधारी माधवा मधुसूदना हे मुरली गान विलोला मुरली गान विलोला My dear friends, at that point in time, when he would chant chapter 3 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, what would happen? His father's soul would appear in front of him with a nice yellow outfit, just like how you see everyone on stage tonight. Dressed in yellow, very dark in color, but a beautiful sight to see. His son is looking at his father. He was transformed from being a bhoot, transformed from being a ghost into being a divine being, simply because the Pinda offerings were made and chapter 3 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita was recited. There, much to the love and appreciation of his son, he blessed him and he said that he is going straight to Vaikuntha because chanting of chapter 3 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita allowed his soul to be free. Free from all the miseries and troubles that he would have created because he suffered so much as a ghost. He suffered so much as a pret. Yes, he had to account for his sins. Remember in Ramayana Katha, remember Jayanta? Jayanta caused little mischief between Bhagwan Sri Ram. And when Sri Ram launched an arrow behind him, it followed him wherever he went. And wherever he go, he could go in the cave and hide. The arrow followed him. He could go beneath the rock and hide. Sometimes we go beneath rocks and try to hide. But that arrow still followed him. Where did he have to go? He had to end up back in front of Sri Ram to beg and ask for forgiveness. My dear friends, when we commit problems in this life, when we commit bad karma in this life, my dear friends, the solution is to face them. The solution is to apologize. The solution is to forgive and move on. Wherever Jayanta went, he was faced with that arrow following him. And only when he presented himself back to Bhagwan Sri Ram was he be able to be forgiven, my dear friends. But Bhagwan Sri Ram said to him, you committed mischief, O Jayanta, and because of your act of your bad karma and your mischief, and he removed one of the eyes of Jayanta. But removing one of the eyes of Jayanta, what did he do? He allowed that third eye of consciousness to be awoken and awakened in him. My dear friends, sometimes we need to face punishment. Sometimes being forgiven is not enough. We need to face punishment. That is why sometimes when you tell the child, no, 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 and they still don't listen and they still do it, then what you have to do? Tapar. One little tapar. One little slap. Sometimes, my dear friends, the punishment is required for us to understand the lesson. If you tell a child, don't touch the fire, you will get burnt. They will not know unless they really touch the fire and they actually get burnt. And only actually after getting burnt, then they will understand and realize they did something wrong. And they did something that's detrimental to their own self. So my dear friends, suffering in the form of that pret, in the form of that ghost for so much time, after paying the consequences of his actions in this world, destiny was written for him to be forgiven at that point in time. And that is why chapter 3 was chanted and his soul was uplifted. Giridhari, Giridhari, Govardhanadhana Giridhari, 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 Govardhanadhana Giridhari, 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 Govardhanadhana Giridhari. So if you want to be forgiven, my dear friends, if you want to be cleared of your mistakes and your problems in this world, chant the name of God, chant the wonderful name of our beloved Lord Krishna. Giridhari, Giridhari, Govardhanadhana Giridhari.
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 Madhava Madhusudhana He.
Madhava Madhusudhana.
He Madhava Madhusudhana He.
Madhava Madhusudhana.
Murali Gana Vilola.
Murali Gana Vilola.
Murali Gana Vilola.
Murali Gana Vilola.
Mandar Giridhara Madana Manohara. Baake Bihari Lal ki. Glorification for the wonderful name of God. My dear friends, at that point in time, Jud turned to his son and he said, listen, here's what. My brother is also suffering. Do you think you could free his soul as well? What would the son say? That is his business, let he suffer. You don't care about it. his satsang show. And they both sat. A divine being, Jad became, sitting with his son now. And as they chanted chapter 3 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita for the purpose of the upliftment of that soul of Jad's brother, he was freed from his hellish regions. My dear friends, this is how special Bhagavad Gita is. In Pred Kand of Garud Puran, it tells of a Brahman by the name of Santaptak. Santaptak was very knowledgeable. He performed a lot of penance. You know his penance, right? When you sit down and you write, and sir, when you sit down and you write on the board, I will not talk in class. You can tell Avantika, I will not talk in Satsangh. Oh, I will not chew gum. You know, and you had to write it like 1,000 times. That's penance, right? So this Brahmana, by the name of Santaptak, performed lots of penance. So we perform penance to make ourselves better. So Santaptak performed a lot of penance, a lot of austerities to the feet of Bhagwan, so that he could become very knowledgeable, that he could become very spiritual. In life, if we want to be spiritual, if we want to have that ability to heal, if we want to have that ability to jare, you need to do some form of penance. In our case, we do Havan. The night of Diwali, when everybody is enjoying the fireworks and the starlight, we as the Brahmanas, we sit and we begin Havan. For hours we will perform Havan, straight until the Kal hour has been passed. That's maybe till about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And Havan would be recited. And this is Havan is done to energize all the mantras that we as the Brahmanas would have, so that we'd have the ability to jare. Because you know people like when our Pandit come, oh God, Babs, I have a headache. Jare me, please. People like that, you know. So that we would have the energies to jare, and we would have the energies to give mantras. We will get Siddhi mantra, and we have the ability to gift mantras to others as well. So we too, as the Brahmanas, we too have to perform penance to uplift ourselves as individuals. And so uplifting his soul, Santaptak, he had one fault. Very knowledgeable, filled with spirituality, but he used to doubt himself. How many times we are filled with gifts, my dear friends, and we doubt ourselves. We could play harmonium, but we doubt ourselves. We could play tabla, but we doubt ourselves. We could sing in satsang, but we doubt ourselves. And Satish? And we fail to recognize that we are great, my dear friends. We have one form, which is a human form. 8,400,000 species of life, we get that one form called a human being. What do we do with it? Recognize that you are great. Our problem in this world is that we fail to realize that we are God. Tonight, I want us all to recognize and believe that we are God. We are that same spark of divinity that we pray to and that we adore. When we look at all these forms, all these murtis in front of us, and the energies that are bestowed within these murtis, we share the same energy, my dear friends. It is up to us to realize it. So Santaptak, very good, very blessed individual, but he failed to realize that he was God. He failed to realize that he was great. When he would walk, the Brahmanas would bow to him. The kings would seek him out for blessings. One day, he ventured into the forest. And becoming a little bit lost, something happened to him. He came upon 5 prey. Not 1, but 5. In Gita Mahatma, we talk about Jad, who was a ghost. But he came in a very nice form. These 5 prates, my dear friends, were very mischievous. They were very restless and miserable souls who were left to roam this earth until this time would come upon them. On seeing this Brahmana, on seeing Santapta coming towards them, they didn't see someone who could help them. They saw an opportunity to take someone's soul. And because he used to doubt himself, he left an avenue open for them to attack him. My dear friends, you see, when you leave yourself vulnerable, you see, when you doubt yourself, you're leaving yourself open to criticism outside. You're leaving yourself open to ridicule. You're leaving yourself open to attacks, my dear friends, on your character and so on. So if somebody asks you, what is 2 and 2? And you say 4. That means you're not sure about yourself. But you know the answer. But you're just guessing. But if they say, what is 2 and 2? And you're sure about it, it's 4, sir. Nobody will ask you the next question. They'll say, go outside and wait. You pass. But when you sound like you don't have that motivation, when you sound like you don't have that confidence, you're leaving yourself open to a barrage of attacks and comments and criticisms and so on. So Santapta, very knowledgeable, yet because he was unsure of himself, he became a little frightened, and this allowed those 5 Bhut to attack him. But what would he do? What would he do? He would start chanting. Let us chant, my dear friends, the wonderful name of Lord Krishna, as we pray for blessings here tonight. As we pray together with Santapta, who is going to be attacked by these 5 Bhut. 2 held on to his hands, 2 held on to his feet, 1 held on to his head. And as they are trying to take his soul, they are trying to take his body, what would he do? Let us listen.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Radhe Govinda, Radhe Gopala,
Radhe Govinda, Radhe Gopala,
Radhe Govinda, Radhe Gopala,
Radhe Govinda, Radhe Gopala,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Radhe Govinda,
Hare
Radhe Gopala, Radhe Govinda,
Radhe Gopala,
Radhe Govinda,
Vivo.
Radhe Gopala,
Radhe Govinda, Radhe Gopala,
Radhe 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 Shyam, Radhe Govinda, Murli Madhav, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Gopala,
Radhe 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 Shyam, Radhe Govinda, Murli Madhav, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Gopala,
Radhe 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 Shyam, Radhe Govinda, Murli Madhav, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Gopala,
Radhe 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 Shyam, Radhe Govinda, Murli Madhav, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Gopala.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe Govinda, Radhe no animosity. We must harbor no hate in our lives. We have duty to perform, we perform those duties. We may not like the person that we're working with, but we have a job to do. So we'll do our duty and put aside our differences. His job as a Brahmana is to help those in need. The Brahmanas who walk on the face of this earth, my dear friends, the Pandits who are on the face of this earth, they are there to help you and to guide you. Lord Vishnu could have absolved them of all their sins at that point in time when he appeared there, but he did not, because it is the duty of the Brahmana to help. It is the duty of the Pandit. So the Pandit, my dear friends, is given that position in this earth. That Brahmana you can turn to help you cross this ocean of mundane existence. To look to your Pandits, my dear friends. Look to your Gurus. They are the ones who will guide you and uplift you in this life. They are the ones who will take you from this point where you will close your eyes in this world, and they will take you to that point where you would open your eyes at the feet of Bhagwan. They would take you from this point where you would close your eyes in this world, and I want you to understand that. But when you open back your eyes, it will be in front of God. That is the purpose of the Brahmanas. So he's telling them that he has a duty to perform, and a duty is to help them. One of them said to him, he said, when Shraddha was taking place, I did not offer the Brahmana food. I ate it first and then I gave it. So he gave him juta food, stale food. And what would happen to him? He went to the form of a ghost when he died. To always feel for hunger but never be able to eat. The next one, he did something very terrible. A mother and a child were walking in a forest, and the child was drinking water, but he wanted to rob them. So he robbed them, and then he took the water from the child and drank, quenched his own thirst. To take something away from a child, my dear friends, to disrupt a child when they are eating is a grave sin. So he took the water from the child. The child died out of exhaustion. The mother died out of grief. He caused deaths of these two individuals. He was in the form of a prit when he died. When he died, his mouth was as small as the hole in the size of a needle, where he could no matter how much he tried, he could never quench his thirst. No matter how much he tried, he could never eat. And he had to remain like that in that state, a very miserable state, my dear friends. The other, he had one brother and his parents, but he was very rich, he was very wealthy. And out of greed, he would not give anything to his brother. He will not help his brother. And one day, his parents decided to sneak some wealth and give it to his brother. Who tell them do that? He imprisoned both his parents and he killed his brother. My dear friends, as a result of this, he was born as when he died, he became a ghost. And so it goes for the five of them. Different stories telling different fates. One of them, he came to the mandir and stole the jewels from the murtis. Stealing from the murtis, my dear friends, earned him a position of a ghost. And now in this state, being very miserable, what would they do? They would try to torture the lesser individuals who did not have the strength nor the spiritual energy to protect themselves. In this life, you must always be protected, because there are a lot of individuals who will come to you and who will want to attack you. So you must always be protected, my dear friends. And in so doing, Sant Taptak, after listening to their stories, performed Pindadan for all of them and chanted Bhagavad Gita. This is how important Bhagavad Gita is, my dear friends, and this is the purpose of our satsang tonight. To understand how great Bhagavad Gita is, the power of Bhagavad Gita, the power of the chanting of Bhagavad Gita, and the knowledge and the wisdom of the Brahmanas that will allow us to be free when we leave this world, that will allow us to be free even whilst we are on this earth. Prem se bole Shri Gita Mata ki Jai. Prem se bole Shri Vrindavan Vihari Lal ki Jai. We shall listen to this bhajan as we conclude our discourse for tonight.
मीठी रस्सी से भाई डोरी राधा रानी लागी, राधा रानी लागी, मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागी। मीठी रस्सी से भाई डोरी राधा रानी लागी, राधा रानी लागी, मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागी।
मीठी रस्सी से भरो रे राधा रानी लागे, राधा रानी लागे,
जय हो।
मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे।
मीठी रस्सी से भाई डोरी राधा रानी लागी,
राधे
राधा रानी लागी,
जय हो।
मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागी। जय हो। यमुना मैया गारी गारी राधा गोरी गोरी,
यमुना मैया कारी कारी राधा गोरी गोरी,
यमुना मैया गारी गारी राधा गोरी गोरी,
यमुना मैया कारी कारी राधा गोरी गोरी।
वृंदावन में धूम मचावे बरसाने की चोरी,
वृंदावन में धूम मचावे बरसाने की चोरी।
ब्रज धाम राधा जो की ब्रज धानी लाल,
राधे
ब्रज धानी लाल,
जय हो।
मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे।
ब्रज धाम राधा जो की ब्रज धानी लागे,
राधे
ब्रज धानी लागे,
जय हो।
मन्ने कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे।
कान्हा नित मुरली में तेरी सुमिरे बारंबार,
कान्हा नित मुरली में तेरी सुमिरे बारंबार,
कान्हा नित मुरली में तेरी सुमिरे बारंबार,
कान्हा नित मुरली में तेरी सुमिरे बारंबार।
कोतिन रूप धरे मन मोहन कहूँ न पावे पार,
कोतिन रूप धरे मन मोहन कहूँ न पावे पार।
रूप रंग की छबीली पतेरा नीला,
राधे
पतेरा नीला,
जय हो।
मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे।
रूप रंग की छबीली पतरानी लागे,
राधे
पतरानी लागे,
जय हो।
मन्ने कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे।
ना भावे मन माखन मिश्री अबिना कोई मिठाई,
ना भावी मन माखन मिश्री अपना कोई मिताई,
ना भावे मन माखन मिश्री अबिना कोई मिठाई,
ना भावी मन माखन मिश्री अपना कोई मिताई।
Baake Bihari Lal ki. My dear friends, on a more important note, the Brahmanas, your Pandits, play a very important role in your life. Please do not disregard them. The Bhagavad Gita is very important to us for our passage throughout this life and our passage when we leave this world. Please understand it. When we give the Bhagavad Gita, my dear friends, we're not giving a little book that costs $15 and a teeny, chunky, tiny, littlest, smallest, teeniest, ittiest piece of gold that we could find. It's not for the Pandit. Those 5 priests were very happy to receive the darshan emanating from the shlokas of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We should appreciate it. Our celebrant, Derek, stand up. I want everybody to see you. I'll give him a few minutes. 25 years in the teaching service. His mother, who is right there with him, who has 40 years plus in the education service as well, a retired principal of the Sanatana Dharma Mahasabha, a very ardent individual in the Bal Vikas committee, produced this wonderful individual who we worship and we honor tonight. To Derek, we want to say thank you for your service to your Dharma. Thank you for your service to your parents. Thank you for your service to the community. And most of all, thank you for your service to yourself. It is a divine blessing, my dear friends, to make an achievement such as this. A divine blessing to have that dedication to work hard and to enable him to reach this far. Just last month, he participated in what we would call the largest gathering of devotees who would collectively chant Srimad Bhagavad Gita. In the beginning, when Derek told me he wanted to learn Bhagavad Gita and he's joining this class, I said, what are you doing, man? And whenever I would call him, Derek, we have Satsangh. No, I have Gita class. Derek, are we going to watch a movie now? I have Gita class. He never once failed in his duties in learning to chant Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And he participated in Gita chanting in Dallas, Texas. Not even in India. In Dallas, Texas, where he joined many faiths and many individuals. Together with his mother, she was right there with him. He said that he wanted to learn Gita. She said, okay, well, me too. And they joined together and they went. That is why I said, tonight I'm not going to do any slokas. They will do it. And that shows how great that of an achievement that he has made. So let us give Derek a round of applause, my dear friends. And Derek, tonight we want to say thank you to you as an individual, from me as your brother, and for my family, we want to say we appreciate everything that you do. And it's only possible because of the lady sitting next to you. And we want to thank Mataji for her divine blessings and her commitment to your self-development and growth as an individual. And we do hope and pray that you continue to grow with us. And we'll all grow in spirituality together. With these few words, my dear friends, I bring to an end of our katha this evening. But our katha will not be complete without hearing from him. So I will pass the microphone over to him at this point in time, as we will hear a few words from Mr. Ramdat. Thank you.
Sitaram, everyone. Welcome and thank you all for coming. As I was telling Mom just now, all that had to be here was here, and I appreciate every one of you for being here. Today is just something small that I thought a couple of months ago I would do, because, in fact, not even a couple of months, maybe last year, I was looking at the situation globally and just how things were turning out with the pandemic and whatnot. And at that point in time, it was 24 years, and I thought to myself, you know what, life a little too short to not mark something of that achievement back then, 24 years, because I didn't know, given what things would be like, who would be here at this point in time. So we're here now, and I've made 25 years, and so I decided the best way that I could commemorate the fact that I have been able to serve the nation's children as a teacher for the past 25 years was to give thanks to God and to invite those of you who are here to share it with me, because I would have considered all of you my friends, my family, my mentors, my teachers, and I wanted all of you to be here. So I'm just at this point in time very, very grateful for all of you, and I want to express my thanks to Panditji and to the group, to my Bahin, to TV Jagrati for being here, and to all of you, to my aunts who are in the back. I haven't seen them come up to the front yet. My aunts who are in the back, I'm pretty sure handling the food, right? And all my relatives, my cousin, and everybody else who is here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Banerjee?
Thank you so much, Derek. Derek, you do so much for us, and we want to say thank you to you. We really want to say thank you to you. And we do hope and pray that you're around with us all the time. Getting a little buff from Mom. We're going penal. But we all love you and we all appreciate you. And I'm sure that all your students appreciate you. Your teaching staff appreciates you. And we do hope that you continue to grow from strength to strength. Thank you very much. Prem se bole Shri Satya Sanatan Dharma ki Jai. Just before we stand and we do our arti, we join together in one more bhajan from Sudesh.
सबसे ऊंची प्रेम सगाई, सबसे ऊंची प्रेम सगाई, सबसे ऊंची प्रेम सगाई, सबसे ऊंची प्रेम सगाई। दुर्योधन को मेवा त्यागो, दुर्योधन को मेवा त्यागो, दुर्योधन को मेवा त्यागो, दुर्योधन को मेवा त्यागो, साग विदुर घर पाई, सबसे ऊंची प्रेम सगाई, सबसे ऊंची प्रेम सगाई, सबसे ऊंची प्रेम सगाई, सबसे ऊंची प्रेम सगाई। प्रेम के बस अर्जुन रथ हाक्यो, 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare.
Let us all stand as we join together in arati. जो ध्यावे फल पावे दुख बिन से मन का
स्वामी दुख बिन से मन का
सुख संपत्ति घर आवे
सुख संपत्ति घर आवे
कष्ट मिटे तन का
ओम जय जगदीश हरे
जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे
जनों के संकट दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे
मात पिता तुम मेरे शरण गहू किसकी
स्वामी शरण गहो किसकी
तुम बिन और न दूजा
तुम बिन और न दूजा
आश
करो जिसकी ओम जय जगदीश हरे
तुम पूरन परमात्मा तुम अंतरयामी
तुम अंतर्यामी
पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर
पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर
तुम सबके स्वामी
ओम जय जगदीश हरे
तुम करुणा के सागर तुम पालन करता
स्वामी तुम पालन करता
मैं मूरख कल कामी
मैं सेवक तुम स्वामी
कृपा करो भरता
ओम जय जगदीश हरे
तुम हो एक अगोचर सबके प्राणपति
स्वामी सबके प्राणपति
किस विधि मिलू दया में
इस विधि मिलो दया में
तुमको मैं कुमति
ओम जय जगदीश हरे
विषय विकार मिटाओ पाप हरो देवा
स्वामी पाप हरो देवा
श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ
श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ
संतन की सेवा मन धन जो कुछ है सब ही है तेरा। तेरा तुझको अर्पण,
तेरा तुझको अर्पण,
क्या लागे मेरा।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे,
जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे।
दास जनों के संकट, दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम। नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम। जय सद्गुरुदेवा।
नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम। नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम। जय सद्गुरुदेवा।
नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम। नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम। जय सद्गुरुदेवा। नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम।
नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम। जय सद्गुरुदेवा।
ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा। ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा। दीन बंधु दुख हरता तुम रक्षक मेरे।
स्वामी तुम रक्षक मेरे।
करुणा हस्त बढ़ाओ,
करुणा हस्त बढ़ाओ।
द्वार पर आ तेरे।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
हरि ओम।
जय जगदीश हरे।
ओम। मंत्राहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं जनार्दनं यत्पूजितं मया देवं परिपूर्णं तरस्तमे। ओम।
शान्ति।
त्वमेव माताश्च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव।
शान्ति। शान्ति।
कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियेण बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृतिस्वभावेन करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि।
शान्ति। शान्ति।
ब्रह्मा मुरारी स्त्रिपुरन्तकारी भानु शशि भूमि सुतो भुरश्च गुरुश्च शुक्ल शनिराहु केतवे सर्वे ग्रह शान्तिकारा भवन्तु। सर्वे ग्रह शान्तिकारा भवन्तु। सर्वे ग्रह शान्तिकारा भवन्तु। ओम शान्ति। ओम शान्ति। ओम शान्ति। सत्य सनातन धर्म की, सत्य सनातन धर्म की, सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। जय जय सीताराम आसने जी।